Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the knockout phase playoff draw for the 2024-25 UEFA Europa League. As today we turn the page to an exhilarating new chapter in what has already been a stellar start to the new competition format. The league phase delivered relentless excitement, drama and competitive balance, which were all on show as well during last night's thrilling final match day, where there was so much to play for as all 36 competing clubs took the pitch simultaneously. It's fair to say that we all sat totally glued to our screens as the league table positions were changing every few minutes, with goals coming in from stadiums across Europe, shaping the path to the knockout phase. Overall, on match day 8, would you believe it that 35 out of the 36 teams actually changed their rankings at some point during the 90-plus minutes, highlighting the fluidity of the new league phase. Once the dust settled, Lazio emerged at the top of the table, the first ever club to do so, thanks to winning the most matches in this phase. They advanced directly to the round of 16, joined by Athletic Bilbao, Manchester United, Tottenham, Eintracht Frankfurt, Olympique Lyonnais, Olympiacos, and Rangers, each finishing in the coveted top 8. For those who finished 9th to 24th, it's on to the two-legged knockout phase playoffs and the draw today. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at the clubs in today's draw who will be competing to earn a place in the round of 16. Some great action there as we look forward to more of the same in the next phase of the competition. But what matches will we get in the playoffs? That's what we're about to find out in the next few minutes. Time to invite on stage the man who will be directing today's draw. And that is, of course, UEFA Deputy General Secretary Giorgio Marchetti. Welcome, Giorgio.
Thank you, Pedro. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The final act of the first league phase took center stage last night, putting a bow on 8 match days of incredible football, with more competitive balance, a greater variety of opponents, and an unmatched level of dynamism. This new format has taken the competition to new heights, delivering excitement from start to finish and ensuring that every match and every point truly matter. In the end, just 4 points separated those going straight to the round of 16 and the first eliminated team. Every club earned at least 3 points, while 34 out of 36 clubs recorded at least one victory. Of the 24 remaining teams, 16 different countries are represented in the knockout phase, and the Netherlands has the most teams with 3. Now we turn the page to the knockout phase playoffs and the bracket as we edge closer to the highly anticipated final in beautiful Bilbao. Congratulations to the 24 clubs who successfully navigated the challenges of the league phase. We really look forward to seeing you in action in the coming weeks. We're almost ready to get started with the draw, but before we do, it's my pleasure to introduce today's special guest who will perform the draw. He is a Basque football icon and he knows this competition very, very well.
And please now welcome on stage Aritz Aduriz. Bienvenido, welcome.
Gracias, Pedro.
Fantastic to have you here. The first question has to be about the new format, Aritz. We've been talking about it, how competitive it is, how dynamic it is. How did you follow it?
Hello everyone. Hello Pedro, nice to meet you again. If you don't mind, I will ask in Spanish.
Yeah, no problem.
So, creo que el nuevo formato le ha dado un dinamismo enorme a la competición. Cada partido ha sido muy importante porque la clasificación variaba muchísimo. Los últimos partidos de esta fase han sido determinantes. Prácticamente todos los partidos había cosas en juego y eso ha hecho que cada gol subiese o bajase en clasificación a los equipos y yo creo que como espectador ha sido muy emocionante y bueno, hemos visto partidos interesantísimos desde el principio hasta el final, con lo cual yo creo que le ha dado un espectáculo muy grande.
Aritz saying that the new format really was super dynamic, and we saw that in the last match day when every goal, every possible point made the rankings change, and there's no question that everybody was living this new format very intensely. I wanted to ask you about Athletic, because obviously there's a possibility that the club could host the final, and they started out very well. 19 points, second place in the rankings. How did you see their performances?
Casi insuperable. Ha quedado en segunda posición después de estar muchos años sin jugar en Europa. El equipo ha demostrado estar al nivel y ha dado una respuesta increíble. Ha quedado en segunda posición, pero además con muchísima solvencia. Y el poder tener esa futura final en Bilbao, pues es un extra añadido de motivación, a la vez también presión, pero bueno, los aficionados del Athletic soñamos con esa posibilidad y el equipo ha demostrado que bueno, está capacitado para poder competir al máximo nivel en esta Europa League.
Yeah, no question. Aritz saying that obviously after a few seasons away from European football, it was great to see Athletic come back and do so well, and they were pretty much perfect nearly in the league phase. And the fact that the final is in Bilbao obviously adds motivation, and the fans are certainly dreaming of the possibility of that happening. One final question. Of course, you know all about scoring in this competition. You actually set a record with 5 goals in one game in the Europa League. How does the mentality change from the league phase or the group stage as you played it to the knockout stage?
Bueno, Lo que hemos visto en esta fase, en este nuevo formato, es que la victoria era muy importante porque los empates quizás no te hacían subir en la clasificación y los equipos creo que han sido valientes con su propuesta porque se premiaba mucho los 3 puntos. Pero ahora cuando empiezan las eliminatorias los equipos saben que cualquier mínimo detalle marca la diferencia, con lo cual hay que saber jugar esos partidos, asumir esa presión y saber jugar con ello y saber que cada detalle te puede marcar la diferencia de seguir o no seguir.
Aritz thinks that obviously the new format already increased the pressure of every result because literally every point and every win can move you up in the standings. But obviously with the knockout stage, there's practically no margin for error, and that's the big change that happens really, that every detail can make a difference. Aritz, you're going to help out Giorgio, obviously, with the draw. Before we do that, let's take a quick look at the technical procedure.
Fixtures for the knockout phase playoffs are determined by means of a draw, conducted in accordance with the following principles. The draw features the clubs that finish the league phase in positions 9 to 24. The clubs ranked 9 to 16 are seeded, and those ranked 17 to 24 are unseeded. Clubs are paired based on their final position to form 4 seeded pairs and 4 unseeded pairs. Pairing 9 and 10 will play against either of the clubs in pairing 23 and 24. The clubs in pairing 11 and 12 will play against either of the clubs in pairing 21 and 22, and so on. In principle, the seeded clubs play the return leg matches at home. The draw is carried out using a seeding bracket with each pair of teams allocated 2 predefined potential positions according to their league phase rankings. 8 bowls are prepared for the draw, with the balls containing the names of the seeded and unseeded teams placed in the corresponding marked bowls. The draw starts with the unseeded teams, with the bowl containing pairing 23 and 24. 1 ball is drawn and is opened to display the team. The first team drawn from this bowl is placed in their reserved spot on the silver side of the bracket. The other unseeded team of the pairing is then drawn and allocated in the corresponding reserved spot on the orange side of the bracket. The same procedure is carried out with the remaining unseeded teams. Once all the pairings of unseeded teams have been drawn and assigned to an appropriate position on the bracket, the draw continues with the seeded teams, starting with the pairing 15 and 16. The process is the same as for the unseeded teams, with the first team drawn allocated to the reserved designated spot on the silver side of the bracket, and the second team on the orange side. The procedure is repeated for the remaining pairings, finishing with the pairing 9 and 10 to complete the pairings for the knockout round playoffs. After the draw, if it becomes apparent that any ties are affected by city or stadium clashes, these clashes will be resolved in accordance with the principles set by the Club Competitions Committee for city and stadium clashes. The calendar of all knockout phase playoff matches will be available tonight.
Good. As the video explained, here are the 8 bowls containing the pairs of seeded and unseeded teams according to their league phase rankings. So the draw starts with the unseeded teams in descending ranking order from pair 23-24 to pair 17-18. The first team drawn from each pair will be assigned to the silver side of the bracket and the second assigned to the orange side. And once all the pairs of unseeded teams have been assigned to a position in the bracket, then the draw continues with the seeded teams, starting with the pair 15-16 and finishing with the 9-10 to complete all pairings. The calendar of all knockout phase playoff matches will be available later today. So everything is ready. Let's start the draw. Let's just remind ourselves who are the 16 teams today. So we start with the seeded. Position 9 and position 10 is for Bodo Glimt and Anderlecht. Position 11 and 12 is Football Club PSV and Ajax. 13, 14, Real Sociedad and Galatasaray. 15 and 16 are Roma and Victoria Pilsen. Then on the unseeded side we find 17, 18, Ferencváros and Porto. 19, 20 is AZ Alkmaar and Midtjylland. 21, 22 is Union Saint-Gilloise and PAOK. And to finish is 23, 24, Twente and Fenerbahce. To finish the list, but to start the draw, because we will start exactly with these last two teams. And here is where we go. Aritz, you are in position. You start. First team drawn.
20.
That's FC Twente, which goes to the silver side. Twente finalists in the 70s, in 1975. Last participation in the knockout phase of the Europa League was in 2011 and 12. So welcome back, Twente. And if Twente is on the silver side, we need now to confirm who's on the orange side of the bracket, and that is
Fenerbahce.
Of course, it is Fenerbahce, Mourinho's team. Mourinho won twice the competition, in 2003 with Porto, 2017 with Manchester United. So now this is the position of the two pair teams, 23-24, and we progress with 21 and 22. First team to join the silver side.
Union Saint-Gilloise.
And that is Union Saint-Gilloise, quarter-finalists in 2023 at their first participation, their debut season. So Union Saint-Gilloise is now placed to the left of the bracket, and the pair team will go to the other side. This team is
PAOK.
This team is PAOK Thessaloniki. First time in this knockout playoff, in this round of the competition. Their last participation in the knockout phase was 16-17. And we can now draw the next two positions, which are 19 and 20. Respectively, it's Alkmaar and Midtjylland. So, for the silver part.
AZ Alkmaar.
AZ Alkmaar drawn to join the silver side. Alkmaar finalist of 1981, and obviously we want to see if the other team corresponds to our expectation.
Midtjylland.
Of course, from Denmark, FC Midtjylland. Second time in this round of the knockout playoff round of this competition. The last time was 2023. So Midtjylland now is orange, and we have only two unseeded teams to draw. It's Ferencváros and Porto.
Ferencváros.
Ferencváros first drawn to the silver side, semi-finalists in the inaugural season of this competition, so in what's 1972. Only one, Aritz, please open this ball.
Porto.
And that, of course, sends Porto to the right part, to the part painted in orange. So Porto, twice winners, are placed there, and we can now start the real pairings. So the pairings of this knockout round playoffs. We start with the position 16 and 15 and 16, which will face either Ferencváros or Porto. First
Victoria Pilsen.
is Victoria Pilsen against Ferencváros on the left silver side. Victoria Pilsen unbeaten in the first 9 matches this season, 6 wins and 3 draws from the beginning of the season before conceding to Manchester United. And we can go ahead. This team will go to the other side.
Roma.
And that's Roma. Roma will take on Porto in these playoffs. Roma twice finalists. Last time it was in 2023 in Sevilla. We are ready with positions 13 and 14 who will be opposed to AZ Alkmaar and Midtjylland.
Galatasaray.
Galatasaray is the first team drawn, going to face AZ Alkmaar, the only Turkish club who has won a major UEFA club competition, the UEFA Cup and Super Cup in 2000. So Galatasaray versus Alkmaar. And on the other side, we will have now
Real Sociedad.
Real Sociedad going to face Midtjylland. The winners of these 2 ties, Alkmaar versus Galatasaray, Midtjylland versus Real Sociedad, will also win a trip to England because their opponents in the round of 16 will be either Manchester United or Tottenham. We are ready for another 2. Positions 11-12, FCSB or Ajax.
Ajax.
Ajax going to play against Union Saint-Gilloise. They are neighbors of Union Saint-Gilloise. Ajax won the trophy in 1992 and have the record of participation in knockout phases of the Europa League 11 times. So Union Saint-Gilloise, Ajax, yes please, is the first tie of this pairing, and the second one is
FCSB.
FCSB going to face PAOK Thessaloniki in the next round. The winners of these last 2 ties will face in the next round Frankfurt or Lyon. And only one is now needed to go. We are almost at the end of the job. Positions 9 and 10. First for the silver part.
Bodo Glimt.
Bodo Glimt against FC Twente in Enschede. Bodo Glimt, they made the knockout playoffs last season, but in the Conference League. So after Twente, Bodo Glimt, the last pairing will concern Fenerbahce, and that will be with
Anderlecht.
With Anderlecht. So Fenerbahce Anderlecht completes the roster of these knockout playoffs. I think we have exciting challenges here as well. And Pedro, you can comment.
I will indeed. There's a lot to comment on here. The results are in of the draw. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's take a look at the lineup. We've got Ferencváros taking on Victoria Pilsen, Twente playing Bodo Glimt, Union Saint-Gilloise facing Ajax, AZ Alkmaar taking on Galatasaray. It'll be Futebol Clube do Porto versus AS Roma, Fenerbahce against Anderlecht, PAOK taking on FCSB, and Midtjylland will be facing Real Sociedad. As Giorgio mentioned earlier, we now have our first look at the UEFA Europa League bracket, so the 24 clubs can see their path to this year's final. Before we sign off, it's time to mark your calendars. The date of the first leg matches is the 13th of February, and the return is a week later, so that's the 20th of February. Some matches may be subject to a change of date and or venue due to a stadium or city clash. That'll do it from all of us here at the House of European Football in Nyon. It's been a pleasure to be with you here today. For Aritz, Giorgio, myself, and UEFA, it's goodbye from Nyon. Take care. We'll see you again very soon.